Hello, Sunday school teachers. This is Pastor Cholak. Today we're covering Enduring Faith Bible Curriculum. This is Unit 1, Lesson 9, A Loving Law. The text comes from Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 to 21. This is the primary location in the Holy Scriptures for the Ten Commandments. However, Moses also records them a second time in Deuteronomy 5. And so you might want to, with your students, compare those two texts to see the differences there. Let's hear the word of the Lord. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you will not do any work, or your son, or your daughter, or your male servant, or female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male servant, or his female servant, or his ox, or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Now when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off and said to Moses, You speak to us and we will listen, but do not let God speak to us lest we die. Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin. The people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now note a few things here. First of all, we see that some of the stuff is sort of mixed around here. We have what is in the Small Catechism as the close of the commandments put up right after the first commandment. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that we have the first commandment, you shall have no other gods before me, and then you immediately have a explanation paragraph of that. You shall not make any graven images of anything that is created, and you shall not bow down to them. This whole, the whole premise of that second paragraph is not a second law per se, but is an extrapolation of the first, what it means to have a God, to bow down, to worship, to put your fear, love, and trust in something other than the living God. And in fact, Luther would say, that which you put your fear and love and trust in is your God. All right. So after that, we should note too that the first, second, and third, and even the fourth commandments have explanations and promises attached to them. The fourth commandment being the one with the promise that if you honor your father and your mother, you will live long in the land. And St. Paul picks up on this when he, in his epistles, say, this is Ephesians, you should honor your father and mother, for this is the first commandment with a promise. Okay, so the rest of the commandments are listed here. Beautifully put also that the third commandment explains how God created everything in 6 days, and therefore a seventh day is meant for the rest of you and me. The rest, the relaxation, the rejuvenation, the renewal of you and me, right? And we should note too that the Lord sends his word to do this and his sacraments to do this. Okay, so that when you and I come into the presence of God, into the place where his word is preached and his sacraments are given, there it is that we receive the renewal of the Holy Spirit. Okay? All right. I would suggest that you sing 581. These are the holy 10 commands God gave to us by Moses' hands. When high on Sinai's mount he stood, receiving them for our good. Have mercy, Lord. I also think it's an excellent catechism connection to look through the meanings of the 10 Commandments. The school kids have just completed the memorization of those commandments and their meanings. The 8th grade confirmation students have been working on commandments 1 through 5, and will soon have the next and last of those completed. So just a little overlap or review there would help in the reiteration and the instilling of those concepts. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I hope you enjoy the study of the 10 Commandments and that which was given by our God to condemn us and to point us to the fact that we cannot save ourselves, to prepare us for the gospel as Jesus comes and rescues us from our sin. Have a great day.